Hi guys, we just wanted to make a quick video for you to talk about the final aspect of theory of the firm, which is called price discrimination. And this is just going to be a very fast overview. If you want more in-depth, there are more in-depth videos on the internet, and then also the textbook is much more in-depth. But just to give you an overview before you decide if you want to go more in-depth to more thoroughly prepare for your exams. If a firm was trying to maximize its profits, it's often the case that it would be better able to do this if it could sell to different groups of people at different price levels. So instead of having to sell at the overall average demand curve, if you could somehow figure out, well, who are the people that are really willing to pay a lot more for this product? And who are the people who are willing to pay less for this product? And how can I meet them at different price points and therefore maximize my profit, essentially charging a higher average price than you'd be able to otherwise? If you think about this, if you knew how much each individual was willing to pay, you would charge each individual a different price. And what price discrimination is the behavior of firms when they've figured out a way to charge probably not each individual, although computer technology and smartphones are making that more possible, but at least to charge different groups different prices. Now, it's impossible to achieve price competition in perfect competition. Price discrimination in perfect competition. In order to do this, you have to have some market control, all right? And you have to have different groups of consumers who have different price elasticities of demand. And then there has to be some way to separate out these consumers, all right? Now, there are three different sort of degrees of this. In the first degree, it would be that thing I talked about at the beginning, the simple idea, you charge each person exactly what they were willing to pay. This is largely theoretical. It's almost like if you made everybody engage in an auction, but you never ran out of the good. But you can imagine this happening and maybe being annoying if it happened to you for an Uber, for example, or for a ride-hailing service, where it would know based on some algorithm how likely you were to pay a price and would charge you more than the person standing next to you because it would know your spending habits. Nevertheless, first-degree price discrimination is very rare and is basically just a theoretical case. The second degree means that the firm is able to charge different amounts depending on how much of the good is produced. This is essentially the idea of buying in bulk. If you buy a lot of, and now fill whatever the thing is, like if you buy a lot of toilet paper, you can get each roll for cheaper than if you buy a single roll of toilet paper. This is called second-level price discrimination because in this case, you have producers who are discriminating against the small buyers and are incentivizing large consumption. This is very common, but is not part of the scope of this class, so let's move past it. Third-degree price discrimination is the price discrimination where you're not able to separate people as individuals, but you are able to break them up into groups. And so we see that there are certain firms that are able to charge different groups different amounts of money. And there are two quick examples of this I'd like to give you. The first is our movie theaters, which offer discounts to certain groups of people. And so by doing this, for example, for offering discounts to people who are over the age of 60, they're able to charge different prices for different people. The only way they can do this is if they make sure that you don't switch tickets, or else you'd always send your grandmother to buy your movie tickets for you. More likely, something that you'll experience more directly in your life, or at least that will be more impactful on you financially, is what airlines do. Airlines charge different prices depending on when you buy your ticket. And if you think about this, why do they do this? Well, they know that the price elasticity of demand shifts over time. And so because they know that the price elasticity of demand shifts over time, they can charge more for tickets the day before the flight than they can 3 weeks before the flight. And so this is the reason why airlines make you put your money on the ticket. It is not for security. Long before there was heightened security around flights and they were checking IDs and everything, No, no, no. They were still, the airlines were doing that long before the government mandated it because they wanted to make sure that the person who bought the ticket was the person who used the ticket. Or else you would be incentivized to buy a bunch of tickets 3 weeks ahead of time and then just go to the airport and sell them the day of to people at a lower price than the airline was charging. So this is a great example of when we have the price elasticity of demand changing for different groups. And if you look at the sheet in your packet, you'll see this laid out. One thing I would recommend that you do is take a look in the book and try to come to class with 5 different examples of third-degree price discrimination. You can find those in the book, you can find those on the internet, or you can just think of them. And I think that'll be really helpful for you in terms of determining your understanding of price discrimination.